legacy today, and I will get to Clara in just a moment from San Antonio, Texas. You can join her because it's wonderful that she called in to start the conversation. Now she'd love for someone else to jump in on the action and share how you are honoring this great saint of Ireland. 833-288-3986. Before we get to Clara, let me just share this as Praying with the Popes. It's an ebook, our special free ebook that will help guide you in prayer and find comfort from the words Jesus spoke to Peter. Visit EWTN.com/Chair of St. Peter today for your free ebook. Okay? Whenever there's something free, pick it up. Okay, Clara's up first, San Antonio, Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Clara. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hello, Clara. We've got, I think we're not ready for Clara yet. Okay. Matt's talking to Clara, so we'll go. Okay, you have room for you. 833-288-3986. Forgive me, I thought Clara was ready to come on air with us, but there's more I want to share about St. Patrick, and I'd love for you to weigh in on this great day and this great saint and share maybe you will share about how St. Patrick is brought into your family with the name Patrick. Some have middle name of Patrick. So it's really kind of cool the way families have taken on the name, and then they definitely have a devotion to St. Patrick. So I'd love to hear that. If you can call in at 833-288-3986. I happen to know a lot of Patricks in my life, a lot of friends who are named Patrick, and they're very proud of their name. And the beauty of St. Patrick's Day, it is a time with parades and all sorts of ways to honor the Irish heritage, that I think it's a wonderful thing when we do that. When we celebrate cultures, it's beautiful. And if we can jump in on it and do it together, it makes it even more special, because you don't want to be where they're over there celebrating and we're over here celebrating. It's nice to do it all together. And this is a week where we have St. Patrick's Day today, and then 2 days later we have St. Joseph's Day, which is a big feast day for the Sicilian culture. Okay, but it's nice to do it all together. And so what we've decided to do today is to honor St. Patrick's legacy and really start the celebration off right. Some, like I said, have started to celebrate this weekend with parades and all sorts of remembrance events of St. Patrick and how he spread Christianity, the missionary work he did to help shape Irish history. And also, and then it continues today, and there's a lot of places that are really turning their menus into a St. Patrick's Day celebration. A lot of people, this is the one and only time they eat corned beef and cabbage. And that's a beautiful thing. So please call in if there's something you want to share. And the number is 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Okay, let's go to Tim in Kent, Ohio on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Tim. Welcome to the program.
Hey, nice talking with you.
Thank you.
We had a bash yesterday in honor of our parish's patron saint, St. Patrick. We are St. Patrick in Kent, Ohio. Our church was built during the Civil War by an Irish descendant, Father Patrick Henry Brown, who begged and did everything he could to get the land and then build a church on the property, because the Irish in town were just flowing at all kinds of great numbers because of the railroad coming through Kent. So the faith of Ireland came to northeastern Ohio through the power of the Holy Spirit, not just with workers, but with a priest with a vision to bring the Catholic Church into the mainstream of town and downtown. So, we're so grateful for the Holy Spirit's work, because through St. Patrick, we have so many Catholic riches in America because of the faith of St. Patrick and all those who came after him in Ireland.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. That is so cool. What a great history from Kent, Ohio. What is the nearest, biggest city to Kent?
We're sort of halfway between Cleveland and Akron.
Okay, okay. I know exactly where you are then. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So when you have a day like this, obviously you started remembering and celebrating this weekend. Is it something that is a week long type of all the
Well,
festivities?
well, it was the 16th yesterday, but we just couldn't resist. And we had a great big party after the last Sunday Mass, and everybody was there. It was the most wonderful gathering. We are two churches in Kent community, Newman Center Parish at the University of Kent State, and then our Catholic neighborhood parish of St. Patrick. And this bash was representative of both those communities. There was cornhole and corned beef and cabbage and Irish jig music playing and all kinds of wonderful fellowship. And the decorations were gorgeous. And the people of the parishes of our two parishes really went all out to make this a wonderful bash. And St. Patrick would have been very proud.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask you, did you have green beer?
No, I think there was green punch, though. It was green, and it had green sherbet floating in it. I had about 4 glasses of it, and it was very sweet. It was very good. I need to add one more thing. Our pastor, Father David Bridling, he grew up in Nigeria, and his first 2 bishops there, and the bishop that ordained him, I believe, were all from Ireland.
Wow.
So our pastor is an African priest who also benefited from the Irish church because they were his pastors and his bishops when he was a boy.
Oh, that is amazing. What a history. That is incredible. Now, do you probably, I mean, you've heard of this obviously since you live in the town and you definitely celebrate St. Patrick. But you've heard of some of the misunderstanding and the kind of the stories that were told over the years about him driving out snakes, which he really didn't do that. That he was born in Britain, that the original color was blue, not green. So I'm sure you've probably heard all of that. But those are stories that are told around the legend and the understanding of St. Patrick. But the truth of it is exactly what you tapped into about this great saint. His missionary ability to transform Ireland and beyond is quite extraordinary, and he did it in such a humble way. Any comments on that before I let you go, Tim?
Yeah, I would say to echo what you just said, it took courage for him to come back to the land where he had been a captive. And he had he was captured and he was enslaved as a shepherd there. And then he escaped, but he became a priest and he came back. And one of the panels in our stained glass window shows Patrick standing in front of a man in a dark hood with the Stonehenge in front of him, because these were Druids. These were people that didn't see God the way the Christian God saw God.
Right. Right.
So,
well, yeah, it does take a lot of courage of what he did, and I understand that there wasn't any formal canonization process in the Catholic Church, so he never officially was, like, I guess, formally canonized. But his legacy, I mean, is just incredible. I mean, look at it all over the world, Tim. I mean, that's pretty incredible for this great saint.
Yeah. We have so much to be grateful for.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that your parish is he's the patron saint of your parish, you have to imagine that he has a special fondness, because the saints are our friends. And so he's gonna naturally feel closer, right, to you guys. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on living in a beautiful town there, and thank you for sharing the story with us, and we appreciate it so very much. So happy St. Patrick's Day to you, Tim.
And same to you too.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to get to Eddie. Eddie's in North Dakota on Real Presence Radio. Let's hear what North Dakota, how they are celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Hi, Eddie. Welcome.
Hello, hi, good morning.
Good morning. Go right ahead, sir.
For me?
Yeah, go right ahead. You're on the air.
I just wanted to say about the history about the battalion, the St. Patrick Battalion.
Okay, St. Patrick's Battalion. Tell us about it.
Well, I'm not very informed about it. I would like. Do you know anything about it?
Actually, I do not. I would love if anyone else is listening right now, if they know something about St. Patrick's Battalion. Do you know, is there anything, can you get us, because my producer, Michael, will happily do a quick search if maybe we can get some details on it. Can you get us started? Like exactly, do you know, what do you know about it?
And they didn't like the Catholics here in the U.S.?
Oh.
Something about...
Okay.
They didn't like the people who were practicing the Catholic.
Interesting. Oh, that's really interesting, Eddie. You know what? If we don't have time to research it now, I'm going to look at it and look it up after the show today because I love finding out details of this. But see, this is my point, though, Eddie. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this because there are a lot of stories that have been circulated over the years about St. Patrick, and I think also certain areas of the world have picked up various facets of his priesthood, his ministry, his life. And then they take it and they spin it in a certain direction. It happens all the time with saints. It happens all the time with great heroes of just the world. It happens, but with St. Patrick, because the whole world pretty much celebrates St. Patrick's Day, it is important that we honor him of the holy journey that he lived and what he did to contribute for the Christian world. And so I think that you're bringing this up is interesting because it allows us to research deeper into his life and legacy. So I'll do that. I'll have to do that after the show because it sounds like Michael's, my producer, is super busy at the controls, but we'll have to do a follow-up with this. Okay, Eddie?
All right, sounds good. Keep on staying tuned.
Okay, yeah, stay tuned in. Thank you so much. God bless you. Have a beautiful celebration day for St. Patrick. The other thing, too, is, I think it's a shocker sometimes, and, we don't want to admit it as when we really have adopted a certain saint as our own for our country, that sometimes they share the same heritage. Like he was born in Britain, okay, but he absolutely did his ministry work and remained in Ireland, which is so incredible. And so Ireland adopted him as their own, as their, as their friend and their patron saint now. And that happens all the time. You'll find that all over with saints who certain towns, certain cities in Italy and Sicily, they said, okay, this saint is ours. Why? Because we prayed to this saint and he's ours, like Saint Joseph for Sicily, right? Because of the drought. And they prayed to Saint Joseph. And so Saint Joseph is their patron saint. Doesn't matter that Saint Joseph wasn't born there. Doesn't matter. They took that saint on as a friend. And it's really quite interesting how countries will embrace the sainthood of a particular holy man or woman that has become very close to that country. It's really quite beautiful when you look at it. So there's a lot to be said about this, and we can peel this in different ways. But I will tell you that when you do research the saints, it takes on a whole new understanding. Okay, so our producer, Michael, does have information. Can you do it in less than 2 minutes, Michael?
I can do it in less than 2 minutes. Hi, everyone. Okay. This is Michael McCall, the producer of Take Two. Happy to be here with you on this wonderful St. Patrick's Day to let you know about St. Patrick's Battalion. Apparently, this was a battalion of Irish people who fought for the Mexicans in the Mexican-American War back in the 1840s and 50s. somewhere around there. I can't remember my history too well right now. But they named themselves because they were from Ireland, the St. Patrick's Battalion, and why did they want to fight with the Mexicans against Americans? Because they were offered large tracts of land in Mexico if they had won the war. So there you go. That's St. Patrick's Battalion.
Wow, interesting. Okay, Eddie, I'm glad you're still listening. You just got a brief history lesson right there. Thank you, Michael McCall. See, he is amazing. He has so many gifts. He's a great producer and he's a great researcher. I love that. So thank you, Michael.
I'm able to type quickly on Google. That's right.
Google's our friend, right? Okay, so thank you so very much. Now, if you'd like to add to the conversation, you have to call in 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. And we're going to hit the pause button in just about 30 seconds. When we come back from this very short break, we're going to get to Daniel in Lafayette, Louisiana. So Daniel, don't go anywhere. If you want to join the conversation and share how you honor St. Patrick on this day, his day, St. Patrick's Day, today, that's right, March 17th, please call in. We'll be right back.
EWTN is looking for qualified people to fill a number of exciting positions. Make a difference using your God-given talent. Visit EWTN.com/employment today.
Take Two with Jerry and Debbie is on YouTube. Search YouTube to find the EWTN YouTube channel so you'll never miss an episode of our show or any of your favorite EWTN radio shows.
Hi, this is Father Mike Schmitz.
This is Owen Jensen from EWTN News Nightly.
This is Bishop Robert Barron.
This is Ron Meyer from Blessed to Play.
The most trusted Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
Have you ever heard someone say that Christians have committed some of the worst atrocities in history? Well, G.K. Chesterton says that it's very right to rebuke our religion for falling short of our own standards and ideals. But it's absurd to pretend that Christianity fell lower than the other religions, the ones that profess the very opposite standards and ideals. In other words, the savages and heathens have had some pretty savage and heathen ideas and practices. Chesterton says the Christian has not been worse than the heathen in an absolute sense. The Christian is only worse because it's his business to be better.
Spend more time with the Apostle of Common Sense. Visit chesterton.org for more information and go to EWTNRC.com to discover more books and programs written and inspired by G.K. Chesterton.
Hi, this is Dr. David Anders from Called to Communion. We want to know what's stopping you from becoming Catholic. Coming up at 2 p.m. Eastern. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. I am wearing a St. Patrick's celebration fedora. It's actually in honor of St. Patrick, but it's also to make Ace McKay, the producer of Beacon of Truth, happy, because I told him I would always pick up a fedora because of him, because that's what he wears on a regular basis. So, Ace, if you're listening, I kept my promise. Okay, before we get back to the phones, Daniel's up next. If you're listening to us in the Billings, Montana area, make plans to attend Billings Catholic Radio Annual Fundraising Banquet. It's next Thursday, March 27th. And guess who the guest speaker is? Dr. David Anders. Find out more at billingscatholicradio.com. That's going to be a great event. Okay, Daniel, you're up from Lafayette, Louisiana. Christ our King is the way you're listening. Hi, Daniel. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, lass. And I like your Irish name, but why do they put the O at the end of your name instead of at the beginning?
Oh, my goodness. You are precious. I love it. Is that really your voice? You have a great accent.
No, ma'am.
Oh.
No, ma'am. I'm a Cajun down here in South Louisiana, me.
Okay.
Well, I spoke that real good. Well, I just wanted to say that, we talked about a previous caller about St. Patrick's Battalion, about how they disliked the Catholics. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I did not know research on this, but I do know that St. Patrick's Cathedral is no longer Catholic in Dublin. It is Church of Ireland now. Oh. And that took me aback when we visited Ireland, back in 2014. And I found out that tour guide mentioned that. And so the gentleman that took my call this morning, he confirmed it. He looked it up. And, as I told him, it was hearsay. So anyway, but that's
so wait, Daniel, Daniel, let me get this straight. So the St. Patrick's Cathedral is now part of the Church of Ireland. So the Catholic banner and name and everything, it's gone?
That is correct. It's still known as St. Patrick's Cathedral, but it's Church of Ireland. And it was a big disappointment to me when I learned that. Yeah. And one thing about St. Patrick that I read about him is that, yes, he was born in England. He was enslaved as a shepherd, sent to Ireland, where he served, and then he saw a vision that told him to go out. So he took that as a sign that he escaped, went back to England, and became a priest there. Mm-hmm. But it's real interesting, his story. You hear all the legends and everything, but I just thought that was intriguing about how the lowly, just a shepherd. And look who Christ appeared to and who he ministered to, the lowly. And I know I'm kind of getting off the topic of St. Patrick's, but anyway, I just wanted to to mention that to you. And that's just, I guess that's the downer of the day, huh?
Yeah. Well, on the battalion, on the St. Patrick's Battalion, our producer, Michael, did a little quick research, and it actually has to do with them, the groups fighting on the side of the Mexican army. So it was kind of interesting. It's a little bit different. We'd have to go into more understanding of that. And I think, Amelia, and you got to listen to Amelia coming up right after you, because she has apparently more information on this battalion. But Daniel, I got to tell you, I'm really impressed with your Irish brogue. I'm going to have to practice after the show.
I tell you, didn't it just come to me overnight, in a vision. I said, "Oh, lad, you got to talk like that, son." But no green beer, because the only big thing green beer does to you is turn you green, and it's not a good feeling, I got to tell you.
Oh, Daniel, that is amazing. That is really good. You should maybe get like a little acting job on the side. Do you act at all?
No, some other people have mentioned that to me. But I'll tell you one thing, Pilgrim. I don't think that job is for me. Right there.
Well, you definitely you definitely put smiles on our faces, and you grace this conversation so beautifully. So thank you, Daniel. We appreciate the call. And listen to Amelia's take on this, because this is interesting. We're doing the research live and on the air right now. So thank you, Daniel. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all giving me some time.
Absolutely. Call us again. You were wonderful. Okay, Amelia's up next in Chicago, Illinois on the EWTN app. So, Amelia, you must have more information on this, because we got first the understanding was we thought they were against Catholics, but now they were actually fighting with the Mexican army. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes. So I am of Mexican descent, and so they were called the San Patricios, the St. Patrick's, in Mexico, and they were Irish immigrants fighting for the U.S. Army, but they dissented because they were treated so bad by the U.S. Army, because a lot of them were Protestants. And so the Mexican Army was generally Catholic, and these group of Irishmen decided to go fight for Mexico instead, kind of seeing it more of a Catholic versus Protestant fight, as opposed to Mexico versus the U.S. So that's where the battalion come from. They were called the St. Patrick's Battalion because they were literally a group of Irishmen fighting for Mexico, the San Patricios. So that's where that came from. There's a movie called one man's hero that tells the story about John Riley, who was the main kind of person in charge of that battalion.
Interesting. So one man's hero. I wrote that down. I'm going to go check it out after the show. So I understand they had a brutal death, didn't they?
Oh yes, very much so. I mean, you can imagine they're trying to fight for the U.S. To get status, but then they're mistreated. So then they go and fight for the Catholics with Mexico, but now they dissented the U.S. Army. So, I mean, they're just up against the wall. So, what brave men to do what they did. But, it's a complicated story, but that's where it comes from.
Wow, that is fascinating. So, Amelia, do you know how many men we're talking about in this battalion? Do you have any idea?
I don't. And like I said, I'm of Mexican descent. I probably found out about that 5 years ago or so. So it's not like it's super well known. So I know the basics, but I'd have to look up what the numbers were. But just a bunch of brave Catholic Irishmen. So we here in my house, we're Mexican, but we're dressed in green. So,
you're dressed in green. I was gonna ask you, do you go all out and dress in green too? Because we do in our home too. Yeah. That's so cool. Now, do you do the corned beef and cabbage?
We're on our way to go get it.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
I don't eat corned beef very much, but I just feel the need to do that on St. Patrick's Day. It's funny how you kind of morph into the holiday, right? You kind of go into it and you start to, it's beautiful. But you know what's really interesting, Amelia, before I let you go real fast, did you catch at the beginning of the first of all, I want to thank you. We're getting a lot of comments from the Take Two family. Thank you for doing the continued research for us and the understanding of the St. Patrick's Battalion. So that's fascinating. I'm going to definitely, and the movie is, I'm getting all these comments. One Man's Hero. That's the name of the movie. Okay. But real quickly, let me just ask you this question. So this week is a very special week, right? We have St. Patrick's Day on today, and then 2 days later we have St. Joseph's Day. Does your family practice St. Joseph's Day?
We very much do. I have 3 Josephs in my family because Jose is a very popular name in Mexico. So I have 3 Joses in my immediate family, my husband and 2 of my boys.
Wow. That is so awesome. That is so cool. Now, in Chicago, where you live, the whole river is turned green, correct?
Correct. They did that Saturday morning. It lasts a few hours. But to be honest, it's more of a drinking thing. They have all the bars open right away by the river, and it's like, come and drink at 8 a.m., So we've seen it a few times, but that tends to be the crowd down there, so a little rowdy.
And I understand that the green powder that's put into the river in Chicago, it's environmentally friendly. Is that true?
It is, yeah. I think that they changed it. It used to last like up to a week that you see the river like that. Now it's like a few hours just because it is more of a natural powder that they use.
Wow. You know what's beautiful about living in the cities, like in Chicago or New York or the big cities, where there is a like a melting pot of people that are immigrants that have come over from other countries. Like when I lived in New Jersey and New York, you constantly would see, the Irish communities, the Polish, the German, the Hispanic, the Italians. I mean, it would go on. And it's really quite beautiful when you can celebrate the different cultures right in the city, because I think the city offers something that the suburbs don't. Would you agree with that?
100%. And I know Chicago gets a bad name for many, but definitely we are a melting pot, and it is Ukrainian, Polish, Russian, exactly, Irish, Italian. I mean, you name it, there's a community that has that, and the food of all the cultures just phenomenal. So very much so.
Beautiful. Amelia, you're awesome. Have a great celebration day. Eat a little bit of corned beef and cabbage for me. I probably won't get to it till late tonight. So you enjoy.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Debbie. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Call us again. Definitely. Thank you so much. Anna's up next at Buffalo, New York, listening on our friends at the Station of the Cross. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
Hi. Go right ahead. What do you want to talk about?
Two things. One is, first, is that corned beef is an American concoction. They do not do corned beef in Ireland.
Oh, interesting. What do they do? What do they do in Ireland? What do they eat in Ireland in honor of St. Patrick?
They do a lot of lamb because they got sheep all over the countryside.
Nice. Okay. All righty. So that's good. We learned that. What else?
The other thing is that I was on a pilgrimage tour to Ireland in the fall of 2023, and found out a couple of things. One is that when St. Patrick was starting his ministry, there was a law that the Druids had that no one could have a fire going higher than when the Druid priests were having their fire. And St. Patrick had the Easter Vigil fire going on a mountaintop that was higher than the Druid fire was.
Oh. So then what?
And
then
that was...
Right. Go ahead.
I didn't get in a little bit of trouble, but still, I mean, that was amazing. You know, if you're talking about his courage and all, I mean, it's truly amazing. And I believe they call it Pearl Patrick these days, which is the mountain top that he started the Easter Vigil fire on.
Wow. Do you? That's when you were on that pilgrimage. You know, and it kind of leads us into this. We wanted to talk about the breastplate of St. Patrick, the morning prayer. Was there a lot of those types of prayers over in Ireland, or have they diminished a bit given that the current climate of Ireland?
I did hear that 40 years ago, St. Patrick's Day was a fast day, but now in Ireland, they've taken on the American interpretation where they have the parades and the beer and everything else.
Interesting. Very interesting. So would you recommend people to make a pilgrimage to Ireland?
Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. We were at Our Lady of Knock. We were all over. And we were at the Cathedral of Galway, which has a deep connection to John F. Kennedy. They evidently, we thought it was like, we thought it was built like in the 1200s, but no, it was just built in the 20th century with money that was raised by the Boston Irish. John F. Kennedy was supposed to take it to Galway, but of course he was assassinated, so his brother, Bobby Kennedy, took it. And if you go to the cathedral in Galway, and one of the side chapels, you will see a mosaic of John F. Kennedy.
Wow. Is it true?
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is. Is it true there's a lot of rain when you go there, like a ton of rain?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that our guide system gets 400 and some odd inches of rain annually.
Wow. Okay.
So to build our houses a certain way to divert the rain away from the house.
Right. Interesting. Well, it certainly has beautiful, lush green. I mean, is it that? They say it's so vibrant.
Oh, it is. Yes, it's beautiful. And we found out that the entire and St. Patrick's grave is in Armagh. And in Armagh, there's a St. Patrick's Cathedral that's the Catholic one, and there's a St. Patrick's Cathedral that's the Church of Ireland one. And St. Patrick's grave is in the Church of Ireland one. And some people on our pilgrimage tour said, well, why isn't he in the Catholic one? I say, because in the 5th century, we didn't have Catholics and Protestants. We just had Christians.
Okay. Interesting. Wow, this is fascinating. We're learning a lot, and this is good. This is exactly what I wanted this episode to be, so that it's not just about the green beer and the corned beef and cabbage and everything, but it's really about the understanding of this great saint. Any last comments about something that left an impact on you, Anna?
I do agree with the other gentleman who basically, unfortunately, that was not St. Patrick's Cathedral in Dublin is Church of Ireland, which was a big shock as well. But I just think the country is beautiful, and it's not hard to get around. And when you go from the Republic of Ireland to Northern Ireland, which Armagh is in, so St. Patrick's grave is at the cathedral in Armagh, and that's in Northern Ireland. And you would not even know you crossed the border these days.
Wow, interesting. Well, I thank you so very much for weighing in on this and really educating us and informing us. This is good. And this is why the Take Two family, we journey together. And I so appreciate it. So call us anytime, okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay, happy St. Patrick's Day. Thank you. You're amazing. So we're getting a lot of comments coming in about the St. Patrick's the St. Patrick breastplate prayer. And it's a very long prayer. It's a beautiful prayer. It really does emphasize the Trinity, which is what St. Patrick used to go around and really explain it to people. And that's where the shamrock came into play, and that's the symbol he used to teach on the Trinity, right? And then it's also where the legend came about, where he drove out snakes and all sorts of threats to people. And so this idea of casting out and removing all the evil threats and everything that can come into our way. And so this beautiful morning prayer of the breastplate of St. Patrick, and you'll all recognize it because it's absolutely just, if it doesn't move you, I don't know why it doesn't, because it every time you even think about it or meditate on it, it has to somehow impact your soul. Because if you just hear the middle part of it, and you'll all recognize it, and it goes like this: Christ with me, Christ before me, Christ behind me, Christ in me, Christ beneath me. See, I'm getting emotional. Just even if you even go deep on it, it moves you. Whew. Christ above me, Christ on my right, Christ on my left, Christ when I lie down, Christ when I sit down, Christ when I arise, Christ in the heart of every man who thinks of me, Christ in the mouth of everyone who speaks of me, Christ in every eye that sees me, Christ in every ear that hears me. And it goes on. There's a whole portion before, and there's some after. And my point is that when you know, this great saint of St. Patrick really stressing to the fine folks of Ireland and beyond this understanding of what it means to be a follower of Christ, and to know that Christ is with us, and Christ is there to help us and guide us and be with us all the way back to heaven, right? And that we are to be in confidence in Christ, and not and to drive away all the evil that tries to creep in and destroy what is so pure and holy and wonderful. And St. Patrick demonstrated that in his life, in his humility, in his obedience, in his courage, and then he was able to gift that to everyone. And we're still, look at what we're doing today. We're still honoring and absolutely looking to this great saint to really help us and to intercede for us. So that prayer is such a powerful. We prayed it at Mass this weekend, and I was a mess. And there were so many people, grabbing the Kleenex and wiping their eyes. And then there was actually a song with the prayer, and it's just so moving. I would encourage all the Take Two family, if this is not part of your regular prayer routine, start to bring it in, because just to meditate on realizing that Christ is all around us and constantly with us is such a comforting feeling in this day and age when so many people feel alone. So I love St. Patrick, and I think we all do, because by the show of support for today's episode. And I wish for all of you, and I know the show team, I can say this on behalf of the show team, we just hope and pray you have a beautiful celebration, a very safe celebration too, as well. But let me get to this real quickly. I could squeeze one more call in if you'd like to make a comment, just your final comments on St. Patrick or St. Patrick's Day. The number is 833-288-3986, but you have to go quickly, 833-288-3986. I want to thank again Clara and Tim and Eddie and Daniel and Amelia. You guys did a great job really coming in strong and making really getting us to understand St. Patrick better. And our last caller, let me just see, Anna from New York. Okay, let me just share this before I go back to a little bit of a deeper understanding of St. Patrick. And again, if you want to really squeeze in a call quickly before we end this episode, let's do it, especially if your name is Patrick. I'm just saying. Ave Maria in the afternoon, this afternoon, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Biblical theologian and commentator Dr. Marcus Peter examines church, culture, and current events through the lens of faith from the heart of the church. And that's this afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So please check it out. Again, the breastplate of there's a breastplate of St. Joseph too, but the breastplate of St. Patrick, beautiful, very powerful prayer and meditation. Also to, this idea of using the shamrock to explain the Trinity. It's important, especially if you're a catechist. One of the first classes you do, especially with elementary school age, is teaching on the Trinity, and the Trinity is very hard. It's very hard for people to wrap their heads around. There's just so much there, and it's very difficult. And for him, St. Patrick's, to be able to do that with the shamrock, and I'm sure he did. He used other symbols to get people to kind of even just slightly grasp the magnificence of the Trinity. That's a powerful teaching, and I don't know if we do that enough. And I think sometimes we miss that the fundamental principles of Catholicism, when they are taught very specifically, like St. Patrick did with the Trinity, and we just focus on and we keep it very streamlined like that, it leaves an impact with people, because people will remember it for generations. So, sometimes we don't have to teach on every single thing perfectly, but if we teach on the main tenets of the faith, but we teach them really well and in a deep way, people will go on and they will learn more. Because remember, the Catholicism is a very vast, huge, deep religion, and it takes, many lifetimes to learn every detail of it. And I know there's, great minds out there like Dr. David Anders and Colin Donovan and Jimmy Aiken, and I can go on, who have a wealth of Catholicism in their heads. But the rest of us, it can be very overwhelming at times. But I think the great saints like St. Patrick did a fabulous job in really getting us focused. And the Trinity, he hit a home run on that one. So it's awesome. Last thing I want to say is please like us on Facebook. Go to EWTN Global Catholic Radio page, Facebook. Like us there. We're trying to grow the family there. Also on Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. I'm going to post, one of our listeners just sent me a really cool article on St. Patrick, and I'm not going to have time to share it. So I'm going to send it to Michael McCall. He's so fantastic, and he'll post it on Jerry and Debbie Facebook page. Thank you so much for celebrating with us today on this wonderful episode of Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you, as we continue honoring this great saint, St. Patrick. So a happy St. Patrick's Day to all of the Take Two family. Hope you have just a wonderful, wonderful time with family and friends. And on tomorrow's show, we're taking a little bit of a different turn. We're talking about how families are divided today. Ooh, this is going to be a heavy subject tomorrow, but Jerry will be back, so that'll be good. And so thank you to the affiliates for carrying the show. Thank you to the show team, Matt and Michael and Rich. And until tomorrow, have a beautiful and blessed St. Patrick's Day. See you real soon.